The main character Haruka Shinozaki has a beautiful dream, but wakes up in the middle of class. Shinozaki has been dreaming of dating Kosuke Akiho for a long time. She is beautiful, she plays sports, and not long ago they were in the same class where she became the head teacher. Haruka confesses to Kosuke and she agrees, but his girlfriend has never had a relationship before, so for the first time she decides to learn the Kama Sutra positions. In the evening the schoolboy goes home with his childhood friend Shizuku and sister Kanojo. When Akiho arrives at school the next day, he decides to ask his boyfriend what his fetishes are. He is embarrassed, but replies that he is just a normal guy. A little later, the gray-haired man decides to help his strange girlfriend. During this she tries to find an approach in communicating with him. Using different rude expressions, he repeats to her that he is ordinary and not a masochist. On the roof of the building, the gray-eyed girl studies men's tastes in adult movies. In the evening, Kosuke ponders how the black-haired one thinks of her, but the one calms down. The next day of school life began with the clarification of the girl's weakness, her ears. In class, Shinozaki introduces his girlfriend to her friend. She slightly overdid it by pissing off the girl with her face palm joke, but it was resolved. After taking a couple of pictures together, everyone went back to school. In the evening, the not very malleable woman invited her man to the gym. Coming there he fell into a stupor. Akiho is still worried that she is worthless as a girl, but Haruka says otherwise and supports her. It was raining. When he got home, the gray-eyed man wanted to text his girlfriend, but suddenly his sister came into his room, shocked, but happy for her brother. At school she meets her. Kanojo tries to show her that she is more important to his boyfriend. On a rooftop, the two girls become close. While cleaning the school, Kosuke worries that she might get dumped, but after the gray-eyed man's words, she calms down. At home, the white-haired girl decided to get to the heart of her beloved with the help of food, bringing lunch to Haruka. He was pleased when Shizuku came to them. As it turns out she knows how to cook, so the gray-eyed one asks for her help in teaching her how to cook. After conducting a master class, Akiho prepared a delicious lunch. Eating all together and having a good time, the couple is going home. It was raining outside. Delivering an umbrella they went home. At her house, the white-haired girl tells her parents that her boyfriend will be dropping by. They are shocked but prepare to receive the guest. Shinozaki arrives just in time to see his girlfriend's mother, but he doesn't realize it's her, as she and his daughter are like two peas in a pod. As they talk privately, the parent shows a photo album of their family, while her husband watches them. Looking back at the past, Akiha's character was passed down from her mother. So here she is, coming from the store. Her father joins her. After a nice chat, the couple leaves. And the married people reminisce about the past. In the evening it turns out that tomorrow the lovers will have their first date and her parents give advice. The next morning, the black-haired man picks up the gray-eyed woman. Having been to a movie theater and a cafe, in the evening the boy offers the white-haired next Sunday to look at the cherry blossoms. She of course agrees. In the middle of the week at school, Kosuke falls ill and her parents are called to the nurse's station to pick her up. Akiho wants to get better so she can watch the cherry blossoms with Shinozaki. She does make it to the appointment, but is still sick. The schoolboy says that they will be able to watch the blossoms next year too. Which makes the girl happy, for they will be together all this time. A new student, Seijo Rina, comes to class. The two are immediately introduced to her, and Rina turns out to be quite a strange person. While spending time with her, Shizuku also gets to know her. In the evening, they become real friends and part ways. The next day begins badly for Seijo, as her friend from her old school doesn't want to hang out with her anymore, but her new friend supports her. She also learns that the orange-haired girl has dogs that she walks with in the same park. She decides to invite her friends to the zoo, and they don't mind. The whole company has a very good time. During this, Akiho's parents also came to this zoo, who once again realized how happy they are to be together. Toward evening, the childhood friend takes the purple-eyed one away so as not to distract the lovers. A new friend brags to her friends about getting her first cell phone. First she compares the signals on her cell phone to Shinozaki's cell phone, and then they take a picture together. A little later, the girls complain about the humid weather causing their hair to be unruly. At other times, the white-haired girl tries to strengthen their relationship even more. Throughout the day she helps him so much that those around her think he is taking advantage of her. In the evening, there was a meeting of the school's elders to discuss pressing issues. One day the gray-eyed girl has a hiccup, and they try to stop it, but it doesn't work. Shizuku decided to help them, but she didn't have time to help them, for they were able to do it themselves. Now she has hiccups too. Next we are shown Kanojo shopping at the store. While walking to the entrance of the school on a summer day, a couple sees Hashikawa Seiya, who all the girls in the school are pining for. The protagonist is worried that Kosuka might have a crush on him too. As these thoughts from rushed away, he sees the two of them in the hallway. His girlfriends try to calm him down as he goes straight to them. It turns out that Siyu was asking Akiho for advice on befriending boys, which is to say him. On the roof of the school, they set up a bamboo tree in honor of Tunawada, on which they can hang notes with wishes. Everyone decides to hang their wishes while the red-haired man counts the stars that have not yet appeared. In gym class, the students are being prepared for a softball tournament. The gray-haired one wants to show off in front of his girlfriend, but he plays poorly. Because of which the bespectacled one helps him learn. The tournament begins. Unfortunately, the ruffled one never learned how to bat, so he loses. Gray-eyed confesses to white-haired girl that he tried for her, but screwed up. She understands and supports him. While walking together, the twosome meets a dog. After playing with it, his owner comes to visit, who turns out to be Rina. On the board at school was an announcement of a 2-day trip with overnight stay in the countryside. Of course our heroes could not miss it. When they arrive, it turns out that Seijo has never been away before. Having prepared dinner, in the evening decides to conduct a test of courage. The couple passed quietly, while the redhead was so frightened that she found them. In the end the test ended in a draw. At night, after everyone is already asleep, Haruko decides to take his girlfriend out for a walk. She didn't realize where he was taking her until last, but as it turned out it was just an ordinary walk. Sa's classmate walks into one of the classrooms and opens the locker. There is Shizu, who was peeking at someone. Suddenly 2 people from the Shinozaki family enter the room. The 2 girls hid and started to peek at them. Because the milk spilled on Kanojo, Haruko decided to find a rag in the locker. When he opened it he saw his classmates. The girl with glasses mistook him for a pervert, for she didn't realize what had spilled on his sister. She ran away. After a while the dark-haired girl pesters our hero. She asks him to follow her. As soon as the girl turns around it turns out that her skirt is pulled up. The gray-eyed one tries to hint her about it, but she takes him for a pervert again. Akiho approaches them, who sees it too. Eventually Sa discovers her skirt is up, and realizes that he was trying to give her a hint about it. So she forgives him. The next day, the gym class is at the pool, and Kosuka has decided to wear a swimsuit beforehand, but she forgot her panties, coming to school without them. She meets her boyfriend in the hallway, trying to avoid him, but she fails, plus Shizu notices her. Walking in the park, at the end of the walk she lifts her skirt, but the guy didn't expect it and didn't want it. A girl with no eyes still comes out of the bushes, which heats up the atmosphere. After one of the gym class, white-haired, gray-haired and Seijo decide to put away the sports equipment together. They accidentally get locked into a room where a pretty hot scene takes place. The door is opened for them by the redhead's bodyguards. The lovers' date is cut short, as Akiho's father gets a bad back and needs to go to the hospital. Shizuka meets him at the mall and they have a good time. Shizuku has a good time, and then she invites her friend to her house, because her parents are away. There they also have a good time, and remember their childhood, and the brown-eyed girl realizes that Shinozaki remained the same kind and caring person. While spending time at school, the white-haired girl sees how much her boyfriend loves his childhood friend's food. She becomes jealous of her and decides to cook him a bento herself to win his love. Unfortunately she fails, so much so that Seijo gets poisoned. The protagonist sees his girlfriend upset and wants to throw her food away, but Haruko decides to eat it, because she was the one who made it for him. The brown-haired girl decides not to interfere either, with her food. In the middle of class, the protagonist has a dream about his girlfriend, who surprisingly behaves normally. When he wakes up, he realizes that it's a dream. Even though reality is different from his imagination, Kosuka is good enough for him. In the school building Kanojo asks his brother to study with her. He of course doesn't refuse his sister. After coming home they study together. Aikawa has recently gotten a job in a store. She gets a lot of visitors, but because of her wild imagination, she takes it all wrong. In the evening in class, the white-haired girl sees her boyfriend asleep. She wants to touch him, but he immediately wakes up and sees his girlfriend asleep, stroking her head for him. It turns out that she is not asleep. He apologizes to her, but she says she even liked it. She wants to stroke him too, and she does. Toward the end of the day, the lovers confess their feelings to each other again.